A very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you wherever you are. Welcome back to Triple P TV. This is Out of the Box with Eugine Roylandz. And of course, today I'm luckily or I'm glad to be joined by the one and only president of the University of Nairobi. Remember, the University of Nairobi. Welcome.
Thank you.
I don't even want to say his name. I would like you to introduce yourself.
My name is Madzao. Madzao Rocha. Jatelo.
I'll say that. Why is Jatelo?
When campaigning, I had this this poster that I had. Sasa nile unataka ku attach Ngomma kwa YouTube. Sasa hapo sasa nikisearch niko hapo Jatelo, so nika click ikawa ina rhyme, so that's how I pick Jatelo.
From there.
And then also pia najua so you know how UON is really rooted, like I have many Luo friends, so I began teaching myself pia Kijaka.
Do you know a few the Luo words? Let's go.
Irio nade.
Hey, my goodness.
Irio maber, and then you say ahinya.
Now you can ask that question again, by the way. Iyo Kiluo. Twende.
Irio nade. And then
Ahinya.
no, if I say irio nade, you'll say adima ber, and then ahinya sana. So irio nade ukwaje?
Adima ber.
And then you say ahinya. Anya ni sana, like
Adima ber ahinya.
Hivyo sasa.
Leso zishaanza tuko kwa shule.
But one thing, I'm not Luo. I am Mijikenda Duruma. Yes.
Oh, you know kwanza tulisikia there's some tribe inaitwa Kuria. Yes.
Kuria.
Kuria.
Yeah, there's Kuria.
There's Kuria. So nilisikia mtu fulani akisema juzi and I was like, si watu ni kama Kurias ni kama ni watu 50 peke yake or 20 of them ndio wako hii Kenya.
Personally, I've never known anyone from the Kuria. By the way, no, I know a lady who is Kuria, but I thought she's Kikuyu. So I think maybe to mix na wa Kikuyu. Ni kama wa Ogiek au Majem, I think so.
Okay, so now, wacha tuingie kidogo. You know, a lot of people would like to know more about you as Rocha Madzao. Is it Madzao or Madzao?
It's Madzao. Not Sile Madzao. Okay, people think it's Madzao. Yeah, the Senator Kilifi. But no, this is Madzao. So Madzao ni Agiriama, Madzao Duruma. So I'm Duruma. It's Madzao.
Oh, okay. So a lot of people would like to know more about you. From your childhood, penye ulianzia hadi wakati hapo umefika hapa to even becoming the president of the most prestigious institution in Kenya right now.
Not only Kenya, in East, Central and Northern Africa. Tell me, name me a university that is bigger than UON in East, Central and Northern Africa.
Ningeongea vibaya lakini wacha nitulie.
Nijua hakuna. It is only UON. Yes.
Sasa tupe tu a little bit about your background. Ulianzia wapi? When you talk about matters leadership, ulianzia wapi?
I was born in Kwale County, in a small village huko Zombo. That is my cradle land. And then I grew up in Mombasa. Of course, unajua hali ya Mombasa venye iko. So there we have these drug abusers. We call them mateja. Au ni wale watu wanakupickpocket. Maybe juko na mbao shilingi hivyo. Of course, growing up unaona venye drugs imeaffect watu, like in my area a lot. Young kids as early as class 2, class 3 wanachana jaba. Bangi huko ni very common. So that's the place I really grew up in as a child. And then fast forward to 2007, ile post-selection violence ika happen, so we had to locate now to a village called Maluwamba. In fact, your time, my friends and I used to join in the mini demos. So of course mimi nilikuwa ni mtu wa baba Raila hiyo time, and then my friends walikuwa watu wa Kibaki. Hiyo ni my friends, so we shout Raila Kibaki. So I think now that's where I really had, now I could now see now that's where now my political journey began as a small kid. Because as early as class 3, I could know that there's Raila and there's Baba. And then came now the referendum. Ile ni mandizi ama ni machungwa. Unajua Ngomma? Ni machungwa ama ni mandizi. So from then maze, naona kina Baba, kina Kibaki wanabishana. Of course my dad anapenda Raila excess. So that's also I now began having an interest in politics. So of course growing pia, as I mentioned earlier, seeing the problems of my society. Na pia elimu pia at large, education. Much of my friends or my colleagues huko hawavalue sana masomo. And then of course I used to be the best in school, and then God willing, by the grace of God, I now proceeded now to Alliance High School. So that was my first time I really came to Nairobi, to the city. Nikaona yenyewe kumbe we are not living. Unajua hatuishi. Nikaona yenyewe pwani si Kenya. You see, so that's how so like you see the difference between where you come from, that is the village, county like Kwale, and then with Nairobi, the huge contrast. Huko kuna barabara zingine ziko clean, magorofa kali. Then pia when you go to the classes, learners there have old textbooks, wanaongea kizungu ingine imeenda shule. Mimi hapo ni tu Kiswahili with my Kiswahili.
For Swahili from the coast, by the way.
Fluent excess. So I could now see the difference between us as between learners, mainly at these areas kama Kwale na watu wa Nairobi. So I could now see the difference between education, and I think it really shaped my perception on how poverty is caused. People aren't poor because of circumstance. It's mainly because of education. Because I haven't seen a person who is learned na ni maskini. Lakini close to all people I know who are very poor, they never went to school. So my journey in high school pia ikanifungua macho that yenyewe bila masomo huendi mahali. So now after Form 4 now, that same year after graduating, I now began a charity campaign called the Elimisha Charity Campaign, whose main role was to now bridge the gap between learners who are in marginalized places now kama Kwale na pia other public schools.
Sorry to cut you short, but before we get into the Elimisha campaign, I just want us to go back hapo ukiwa high school, yeah? In Alliance High School. Of course, tunajua watu Alliance kiburi wana Alliance and UON ni kitu moja. So, now your eyes were opened at this moment is when you realize that, so there are different things outside here. No. For example, this is how people usually live, vile umesema, but ningependa get this context. How were you living then before you joined Alliance? Were you living in a well-off family, ama you are also on the other side?
I come from a moderate family, not poor, not rich. At least we can afford what we want. We lived in a good house, but of course now the neighbors that you have or the friends that you always think you are rich until you go to the next town. Do you know yenyewe we are not rich? So as per the conditions of where we lived, most of my neighbors now they live in mud huts. And of course, now in Likoni, that's the best way now I really lived. These nyumba za rentals. By now my father had these plots. So unajua hizi plots ziko na rooms. Sasa nile wewe ni mtoto wa landlord. So na feel yenyewe we have money. Lakini now coming to Alliance kuna yenyewe we were yenyewe there's a difference, unaona.
Is that where you realize that now this is real? I come from a moderate family, like for real. I can see it clearly with the difference. I mean, there's a clear difference between you and the other students. Ama, how was it?
At Alliance, I now made rich friends. Even during my campaign, I was telling people, I'm a poor man, but with rich friends. At Alliance, I made so many rich friends, sons of the who's and who's of the nation. And of course, we clicked with them, and that's how they shaped my mindset as well. Since, of course, I'd visit them in their home areas. I'd visit them during half terms. Of course, during sessions, when during these times I've visiting, because personally my parents never came to visit me for the 4 years. So I used to go with my friends now to their place, and then we eat with them food and chicken. Mainly chicken. I really love chicken that was being brought.
Talking about Alliance High School and also your primary school, were you a student leader?
At Alliance, I was a prefect. I was first a treasurer for my house. My Form 3, and then in my Form 4 I was now appointed a prefect, but I didn't vie for any top position. I was appointed as the head of correspondence by the then school captain. Actually I was doing a very menial job.
What is that?
Mimi nilikuwa prefect wa mails na sticky notes.
Now, talk about mails and signals. Ilikuwa zile za mails from other campuses, I mean from other high schools.
Okay, back then I was a lover boy. I was a lover boy. So mimi nilikuwa hivi tu prefect. Nika kwa hiyo department ya correspondence. Kwa hivyo ile letters natoka from Alliance Girls, Mary Hill, naziendea na napatia students. So I was a hot cake in school because I handled the goal of the boys.
Is that recognized by the school?
Yeah, it is. Okay, not only that, even letters, easy success cards or any letter that was from outside, I was the one who was handling them. But mainly sticky notes na love letters from schools.
Tulienda shule gani huku nje? What? So that is the thing, you know, for example, in my school, it was not, I mean, if you're found with a letter, it was another case. Yeah, why are you dating? Why are you doing hii kitu itakuharibia masomo? But you were in charge of that at that point.
Alliance was a different school.
Are you good at writing?
Writing, in fact, I have a poor handwriting, very poor handwriting. Actually, there is one mail I've never forgotten. Nilidraft nikiwa form 3. Hadi nikalipa mtu bana, anikaligrafie. Nikampatia content, akaandika na his words. So that's the best love letter nishaandika in my whole life. In fact, it's the only and the best I've ever written.
So talking about Alliance, Mary Hill Girls, nini, which school was your sister school at that point? And also which school were you, looking to get a beloved from?
My sister school was Alliance Girls. But I was more of Kenya High. I know many will criticize me, but I was more of Kenya High.
Okay. Umepata mtu so far up to this point?
Repeat.
Umepata mtu so far up to this point?
Mimi kwa sasa sina mtu. Kwa sasa I have focused my energy mainly to tackle not only with student issues but also with youth matters that are affecting us. I would have loved to have a person. Ningependa sana. Lakini hiyo energy na time kwa sasa nimeweka at bay. Lakini perhaps in the future Mungu atanibariki.
Now, let's get into the University of Nairobi. You've been in the University of Nairobi for how many years now?
I've been in the University of Nairobi for 4 years now. Yes.
For 4 years now. As a student leader, umefika to be a student leader. Did you start being a student leader immediately when you joined the campus, or how has the journey been all along?
I began being a student leader as early as first year because that's the time I now began the campaign, the education campaign. But I now rallied my students and my classmates and my friends to bring their books so that we can donate them and so that we can give them to these learners who are from impoverished areas. So that's where I began my leadership journey. And with time they saw my work, and with time I got friends from the political scene that is within school, since they mainly depended on my events. This is kuenda kwa mashule for them to gain the clout that they are doing good in this society. So with time I could now see what they are doing, and then in my second year I became a strategist to Mbaga Odiango, who now became the SecGen, and then I became also a strategist Akivai governor, and then now when he became the governor it now opened doors for me as well, because that's when now I met now with people like President Malith and the rest who are now at the top level of their game, that is with regards to campus politics. And so with that, having seen my friend whom I helped become governor, and having seen Akina Malith as the president, so I told myself, now for me the next stop I can go is president, nothing else. Otherwise I would have waited for governor, but I said no, I've already built enough ground for myself. I've done enough. I've done much for the school already as an NGO, meaning I have the capability. And even with the results that came out, you could see they all had trust in me, because I won with the largest number of votes tangu UN yanze, 26 out of 39, meaning they believed in me or in my team with my track record that they had seen.
Now, this is funny. You know why? Last year, I saw a video of you. Mbaga had posted it on his status. Ukisema you will be the president of UON. I mean, you had envisioned it at that point. Even you're telling Mbaga, when I become the president, I'll give you this seat. When I become the president, you'll be doing this and this and this. How did you even get to that point? Like, you were very sure you're going to win. You were very certain about it. And I was like, hey, let me wait and see.
Actually, for the video, it is true. As I said, Mbaga was a governor. And of course, there's a quote which says, proximity to power is absolute power. So of course I was with him in the corridors of campus politics, and I could see all these people. They're just normal people like me and you, and what they are doing I can do the same or even better. That's why I said I'll become the president, since I could see even the gap that was present, mainly with our issues as students. You know, I've lived in Mamlaka for a long time, and I could even see the contrast between UN and Alliance, like even with the hostels condition, they are very, honestly, they are very pathetic as an institution. And so, pia mimi ikaona by the only way we can solve this is by me becoming the president, and I was able to, because kama ni resources I was able to mobilize them. I had the connections, I had the friends, I had the ground, and I had good men and women who were able to support me to climb the ranks, whom I knew I would depend on if I decided to take the path of presidency. And here we are now, talking to Rocha Madzao,
the president of the University of Nairobi. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short commercial break. We'll be right back after the break.